Hello, my friends. This is Dr. B again, the best doctor in medicine, the best you can find. 30 plus years of experience, clinical experience in medicine. My friends, today Dr. B wants to talk to you about what is the best way for you, woman, to decrease your risk of breast cancer. This video is for all women out there, and also for all men who have a partner who is a woman. Please remember, everyone out there, that the most common cancer in women is breast cancer. Breast cancer. In men, I posted another video, in men, the most common cancer is prostate cancer, right? The number one cancer by far in women is breast cancer. And the incidence, the new cases in medicine, in statistics, in epidemiology, when we say the incidence of a disease, the incidence of a condition, we mean the new cases that appear during a certain amount of time. For instance, if I tell you that every year after year, the incidence of breast cancer in women increases, I mean every year the number of new cases of breast cancer in women increases. And that's a reality. As of right now, June 2025, breast cancer is not only the number one cancer in women everywhere in the world. Doesn't matter whether you are a developed, industrialized country or you're a poor country. Number one cancer by far in women is breast cancer. And the incidence of it is growing. For different reasons, I don't want to go into the reasons why the incidence, the number of new cases of breast cancer in women is rising over and over every year. That's for another video. Remember, I'm not here to give you deep lectures in medicine, right? Dr. B is here in this channel to give you practical tips, practical guidelines so that you can be healthy and stay away from cardiovascular diseases, cancer, dementia, neurodegenerative diseases, heart failure, liver failure, strokes, heart attack, blah, 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 right? The goal of this channel, Dr. B doesn't want to give lectures in medicine, right? I want to talk to you, the regular average Joe, the regular average Jane, so that you can age gracefully like Dr. B, right? So currently, one woman out of eight will develop during her lifetime a breast cancer, right? It's crazy. It's crazy. Now, there are some ways to lower your risk of breast cancer, right? You can never, for any cancer, you can never, ever, ever eliminate your risk completely and bring it to zero. It just won't happen, right? And I will post a video about why is it impossible to completely eliminate, put it at zero, a person's risk for a given cancer, for any cancer, right? That's for another video. But you woman, or men who have a partner who is a woman who has boobs, right? The best of the best way to decrease by a huge amount, 15 to 20% reduction of your risk of breast cancer is breastfeeding. Guys, isn't that crazy? It's not a supplement that you buy online and they rip you off with hundreds of dollars, a little pill that you take that has absolutely no scientific backing. It is not a special cream that you put on your boobs and that, supposedly if you keep your credit card ready and buy this cream, $200, and put it every day on your boobies, and your risk for breast cancer will decrease. This is all BS, charlatans, right? The internet, everywhere, full of charlatans, only care about your money. Don't get fooled. The number one best way, you women out there with boobs, the best way to decrease your risk of breast cancer is to breastfeed. That requires first to have a baby, at least one baby, so that you can breastfeed the baby. And guess what? Scientific evidence, this is not my invention, scientific evidence have proven that the more babies you breastfeed, the lower your risk of breast cancer in your life. Isn't that crazy? It's crazy. And guess what? In addition to that, the longer the time you breastfeed, the lower your risk of breast cancer in your lifetime. Isn't that crazy that you have such a simple tool, which is breastfeeding a baby, right? Such a beautiful thing, right? Nurturing, breastfeeding a baby, holding your little kid or somebody else's kid, right? You can be a surrogate, right? A breastfeeder. You breastfeed the kid of your neighbor, who the neighbor is not able to breastfeed because her boobs are so tiny, right? You get my point. The more babies you breastfeed and the longer each time you breastfeed the baby, right? Not just 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 2 months, right? The longer, right? You can go up to 2 years of breastfeeding, right? The lower your lifetime risk. Woman out there, please remember, this is the number one cancer for you, woman. I'm a guy, I have a prostate. I'm 50 years young, right? The number one cancer for me is prostate cancer. If I knew that there is a way, natural, healthy, beautiful way for me to decrease my risk of prostate cancer, I would do it. Unfortunately, there is none. Anybody who says anything else is a liar, has no scientific evidence to back up his or her claim, right? And I will come to that for guys, right? All this fake news, fake stuff about this doctor said if you do this, the other doctor said if you masturbate or you ejaculate or you have sex, I don't know how many numbers of time per week, your risk for prostate cancer will be lower. That is all BS. There is absolutely no evidence to support that. But for you women out there, the number one cancer in women is breast cancer. And if you breastfeed a baby, and the longer you breastfeed and the more babies you breastfeed in your life, the lower your risk of breast cancer. It's an additive, it adds up, it grows, right? Exponentially growth, right? Or exponential decrease in this case means the risk decreases exponentially with the number of kids that you breastfeed and the longer the time during which you breastfeed. Now the problem, what is the problem? Is that despite this beautiful scientific evidence, right, young women from high school, college, university, and thereafter at work and are being brainwashed by the cosmetic, beauty, fashion, model industry, right? They look at these beautiful young girls in bikinis and in their underwear and advertising, oh, look at me, I'm so beautiful, I'm such a model, I have a beautiful butt, look at my boobs, so beautiful, and blah, blah, blah. And so these women who are young, high school, college, university, who get married, who are pregnant, they get discouraged. watching TV, the news, all this freaking disgusting superficial society that we have built for ourselves, where brain doesn't matter anymore, intelligence doesn't matter, personality, character, moral values, family, all this doesn't matter anymore. All that matters is, the cosmetics, right? It is important that you preserve the nice shape of your boobs. And of course, this feminist movement that is now everywhere in Western societies, right? That are claiming that it's not fair, that women are breastfeeding whereas men are not doing anything. Since when having children and breastfeeding a child, since when nurturing a child and in your arms and giving your breast to that kid to feed that kid, since when is it a bad thing? Since when is it unfair? Since when has it become unjust, right? All this society, civil warriors and justice warriors that are brainwashing these women, all these advertisements and the beauty and the fashion models and all this beauty industrial complex, right? Fashion industrial complex, cosmetics industrial complex, brainwashing women that if you breastfeed, your boobs will no longer be what they were before, right? That your boobs are going to sag, you're going to have stretch marks on your boob, and they're not going to be beautiful anymore, right? And so what? Huh? And so what? Since when are we supposed to judge a woman by her boobs? So what is wrong with a mother who has 2 or 3 kids and whose boobs are sagging or her boobs have stretch marks because she breastfed her babies, right? Breastfeeding is so super healthy for the baby, guys. I will come to this later. But since when are we supposed to ridicule, to laugh and to look at a woman differently with a lower esteem because her boobs are not hanging right there on the top like that? Since when? It is so nasty, so disgusting what our society, materialistic society, superficial society, it's all about money, it's all about showing off, it's all about superficial, look at me, look at my boobs, look at my ass, look at me, oh my God. But what is in your brain? What is in your character? What is in your personality? What is your job? What are you doing for your fellow Americans? What are you doing to help society? What are you doing to contribute to your fellow American citizens, other than just making yourself beautiful and looking at your butt every day in the mirror and you at your boob and thinking that is the only goal in life, right? Superficiality, is there something like this? Am I inventing a term? I mean, superficial ways and manners, right? Since when we should push young girls and young women in childbearing age to not breastfeed, right? Because her boobs are not going to be beautiful anymore, and the husband is not going to like you anymore. He's going to sleep with another woman. Who is this jerk who's going to cheat on his wife because the wife is breastfeeding and has breastfed the children, his children, right? 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 children, and now her boobs are sagging and she has stretch marks, right? Who is this jerk? Well, let him go. If that guy is such a jerk that he's not gonna like his wife or cheat on her because of the shape of her boobs, that guy is just a jerk and doesn't deserve anything from any woman, right? Now, last but not least, remember that breastfeeding is such a great act for the child, for the neonate, right? Because and for the infant, right? Because I don't want to go into the medical part, the transfer of antibodies, the transfer of healthy proteins and iron and blah, 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 the boosting of the immune system of the baby, and of course the bonding between the mother and the baby, and the feedback that the brain of the baby gives to the mother and the mother's brain gives to the baby. The mother looking at her baby in the eyes, they look at each other in the eyes. Why, right? When the baby and the mother are together, and the feedback that the mother gets from the baby looking at her during breastfeeding produces huge amount of endorphin, noradrenaline, right? Serotonin in her brain, makes her brain healthy, right? Conversely, the same thing, the baby looking at the mother while suckling the boobs, right? The eye contact between the mother and the baby produces in the brain of the baby so many chemicals, healthy chemicals, serotonin, noradrenaline, dopamine, I forgot the dopamine. How can I forget the dopamine? And that brain is connecting, neuronal connections in the brain of the baby are developing faster than a baby who is given just a bottle, right? And the mother is watching TV. The mother is watching TV or busy online with a computer or her cell phone, right? She gives the bottle, the milk bottle, to the baby. The baby just really closes the eyes. What a difference between that and a baby who is breastfed. So the baby's brain develops better. Later, way less risk of ADHD, attention deficit, hyperactivity disorder in that child. Later on, less risk of autism. People are complaining, how come so many babies and the risk of autism is rising and all this, right? The risk of autism, guys, is crazy. I mean, 1 in 100 babies now will develop autism later in childhood, around the age of 1.5 to 2 or 2.5 or 3, right? Around that time. There's some variation, but around that time, between the ages of 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 4, around that time, the child is being diagnosed with autism. It used to be 1 baby out of 150. It used to be. Now it's 1 baby out of 100, and it's going to keep rising. One of the major reasons is that less and less babies are breastfed. There are some chemicals, healthy chemicals, in the breast milk of the mother. Not the cow, not the goat, not the sheep. The breast milk of the mother, of the human, right? Healthy chemicals that go in the brain, in the body of the baby, and stimulate the neuronal connection, in addition to the visual contact between the eyes of the baby watching her mother, right? And those neurons, the brain cells, make connections 10 times more, 100 times more, 1,000 times more than the brain of a baby that is not breastfed by the mother's milk, right? Or breastfed by the bottle without this bonding and suckling the breast, guys. It's crazy how many developmental disorders, right, of the children are due to the lack of breastfeeding. Unbelievable, right? Women out there, think about what you can do for your child. Think about what you can do for yourself. Prevention, decreasing the risk of breast cancer for yourself, right? The more you breastfeed, the longer you breastfeed, the more children you breastfeed, you decrease your own risk of breast cancer by 15 to 20%, and even more each time that you breastfeed, right? And each time for the longer time that you breastfeed. In addition to that, your baby, you preserve your baby, you keep your baby from developing autism, from developing neurodegenerative disorders later in life, from developing ADHD, from developing cognitive disorders, right? The children of mothers who were breastfed are smarter, definitely will be smarter than babies who were neglected, just given a bottle, and the kid is watching the ceiling because he's in the crib. He has nothing to watch other than the ceiling, and the mother is playing with her cell phone over there, right? In the couch or watching stupid movies, right? That child is not going to be as intelligent, right, as a child who was breastfed. Guys, my mom breastfed me until 2 years old. I was 2 years old. I was still suckling the boobs of my mom. And my mom breastfed all her 5 children. All her 5 children were breastfed, right? Isn't that crazy? Listen, do not get fooled by these feminists. Do not get fooled by the brainwashing of the cosmetic beauty, fashion model industry. They are all fake. They are all immoral, right? They don't care about anything other than your money, right? They just don't care about you guys. Guys, Dr. B is here not to teach you medicine, but to give you healthy tips so that you can stay away from cardiovascular diseases, cancers, heart attacks, strokes, blah, blah, blah. Remember, cancer is the second number 2 killer of men or women. Whether you're a man or whether you're a woman, cancer is the second killer of mankind. And among women, the most common cancer is breast cancer, right? But remember, in both genders, male or female, the number 1 cancer killer is lung cancer. But the most common cancer in women is breast cancer, and in men is prostate cancer. But in both genders, the most common, not the number 1 killer, cancer killer, but the most common cancer in women is breast cancer, in men, prostate cancer. But in both genders, the number 1 cancer killer is lung cancer. Guys, Dr. B went to medical school more than 30 years ago because he loves people, because he loves medicine, because he loves science. I love health sciences, right? From biology to chemistry to biochemistry to physiology, anatomy, medicine, pathology, surgery, you name it, Dr. B knows it, right? And Dr. B is always here for you. I love you regardless of your gender, race, ethnicity, politics, whether you're a man or woman, something in between, religion. I don't give a cazzo. I love you. I give you a big hug. If you're a human being, I love you and I'm there for you. I hope to see you in the next video. Post your comments and any questions down there. I will get back to you as soon as I can. I love you. Bye-bye.